Are you starting law school soon? Are you thinking about going to law school? Well, you're probably wondering or thinking about what you should be reading to prepare for law school, what books maybe you can read to get ahead of your classmates before the semester starts. I'm going to tell you here are the top 10 books you need to read before starting law school. Hi there, Doc from Barcast Audio here today to talk with you about the top 10 books you need to read before starting law school. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more law school and bar exam tips. Now, without further ado, let's start with number 10. Our number 10 book to read before law school is The Elements of Style by William Strunk Jr. and E.B. White. Now, I'm not going to devote all too much time to this book as I generally feel these style guides are not super useful and they're really only most useful under certain circumstances. This guide is a bit old, having been published in 1999. It's a style manual. It remains popular in pre-law school circles and the pre-law school community because it's a very useful resource for students trying to improve their writing styles. Not every student enters law school as the best writer. If that is something you think you can improve upon, if that is something you would consider maybe a weak point as you're entering law school, be sure to check out The Elements of Style by William Strunk Jr. and E.B. White. Next up, number 9, The Happy Lawyer, Making a Good Life in Law by Nancy Levitt and Douglas Linder. This is a book that I always love to include because to me, it is a topic that is perhaps the most important that you'll think about as you're entering law school. There are so many unhappy people in the legal profession, so many unhappy people in law school, and this book speaks to the issues that are involved with law school, with becoming a lawyer, particularly the stresses of the profession, the stresses of law school. Law isn't always glamorous as it is as portrayed in Suits and other common popular media. It generally involves long hours, a lot of unexciting paperwork, and a lot of reading, slow reading. And as such, there's a lot of turnover within the legal industry, a lot of dissatisfaction amongst lawyers. So this book covers a lot of reasons why lawyers feel dissatisfied, why people in law school feel dissatisfied, and helps you to really define early on how you can maintain a happy outlook and hopefully take care of yourself as you proceed through your legal career. Next up, number 8, One Hell of a Ride by Andrew J. McClug. This book is a classic law school recommendation and with good reason. It's perhaps the best breakdown of the 1L experience and gives you an actual heads up on what you can prepare for. Many people think that they can enter law school sort of doing the same things, following the same routines that allow them to succeed in college and high school in terms of studying, in terms of preparing, and that's simply not the case. One Hell of a Ride provides all readers, students with this sort of roadmap of the first year of law school and helps them focus on the most important things and what they can expect entering law school. Next up, number 7, 1L by Scott Turow. This is the only novel on this list, and with good reason. It is iconic. There is a movie based upon it. It illustrates the cutthroat nature of law school, how competitive an environment it is, how brutal it can be if you are cold called and you end up failing in that context. There's a movie out there you can check out as well. 1L by Scott Turow is an iconic piece of law school fiction, but I do think it's really useful in sort of helping prepare students and unglamorize some of the things that are involved in law school. People come into law school expecting Suits, and it's a lot more akin to 1L by Scott Turow. So allow yourself that opportunity to see sort of a more realistic take on the law school experience. Next up, number 6, The Tools of Argument by Joel Trachtman. Next up, number 6, The Tools of Argument by Joel Trachtman. A lot of these books that I'm referring to you are going to really focus on the 1L experience. But in terms of practical skills, the skills you'll need to one day become a lawyer, to one day become a better law student, The Tools of Argument is a integral tool, a really valuable read here because it teaches you what is most important. Not everyone who enters law school is going to have the skills necessary to argue well. Some students, maybe you're great at writing, maybe you're great at or been told you're great at arguing, and you think that you know what you're doing. But entering law school, you need to develop some of those skills in a way that allows you to become an advocate for your clients, for whoever you may represent on the other side of law school. And Tools of Argument helps you develop those skills, both in terms of your legal writing, in terms of how you format an argument, in terms of how you think. So look at this book, check it out, because it helps you understand how your brain is going to be rewired through this law school experience. Moving on, let's talk about the first of our top 5. Another book that I think is integral here, number 5, How to Be Sort of Happy in Law School by Catherine Young. Another book here addressing this issue of maintaining your sense of self in law school. Law school is difficult. A lot of students experience a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of mental fatigue. Your relationships suffer. You personally suffer. And I see too much of this, students burnt out, students who enter law school feeling or exit law school feeling a lot worse about themselves than they entered law school. This book is helpful to help contextualize the law school experience, and this book is helpful in that it allows you to contextualize some of the more difficult undergoings and feel a little bit better about yourself if you are struggling, or to prepare you for what you may actually face as you're entering law school. So check out How to Be Sort of Happy in Law School by Catherine Young. Next up, number 4 is Eating People Wrong, Great Legal Cases and How They Shaped the World by Alan Hutchinson. More social science and style guide. This is a fascinating book that covers several important law cases. It's kind of a fun read, which is something a lot of these books maybe aren't. Is Eating People Wrong really is a great book to help bring you into this world of legal cases. It illustrates the strangeness of the law, the strangeness of so many of these fact-based cases that we read in law school, and it addresses how different attorneys address the issues within these sort of strange cases. So very useful, very helpful. It also sort of illustrates a lot of the social influences that impact the law and how the law is adjudicated by the courts. Number 3, 24 Hours with 24 Lawyers by Jasper Kim. There are a lot of options out there for attorneys after graduating law school. I mean, I feel that way when you graduate, when you're looking for a job, but ultimately down the line, careers take a lot of different paths. Students end up working in fields they never thought they would have otherwise ended up. And 24 Hours with 24 Lawyers helps facilitate that by exposing you to different careers, different practice areas, attorneys experiencing different day-to-day lives, and it's really useful. I think one of the best things you will read before law school, because too many students enter law school without any idea of what lawyers actually do. This book will teach you what they do, will show you what different types of lawyers do on the day-to-day, and doesn't really glamorize it. Once again, I keep saying, law school is not like Suits, being an attorney is not like Suits, and this book helps illustrate for you what is most important. Number 2, Law School Confidential. This is the iconic text in terms of catch-all guides for what you can expect from law school, trying to figure out if law school is right for you, what the expectations may be from a day-to-day perspective. Law School Confidential is actual experiences from law students from different schools. They talk to administrators, to professors. They give you everything, all the perspectives involved in law school. What works for students, what doesn't work for students, what professors are looking at when they're grading exams, what administrations are looking at when they're assessing students and whether they are a good fit for a law school. Law School Confidential is the catch-all of law school books, and it is something well worth reading when it comes to preparing for law school. Finally, our number 1 text, and this is sort of a controversial take here. I think this book gets kind of overlooked too much, and I don't really think that I understood how important it was when I first read it. But our number 1 book to read before law school here is Getting to Maybe by Richard Michael Fish and Jeremy Paul. Now, Getting to Maybe is the classic recommendation. It's Getting to Maybe How to Excel on Law School Exams is the full title. It first came out back in 1999. It is a little bit dated, but I know they did update it in 2023 to help it become a little bit more relevant to the current law school environment. But really what this book is about is how you can prepare for law school exams and how to write on law school exams. Students entering law school, maybe you're a great writer, or you've been told you're a great writer, you've written a lot of essays in school, you've scored well, or maybe you're a great thinker in some capacity. Ultimately, the law school experience, though, the essays that make up the majority of your grade, if not all of your grade in a course in law school, they are an entirely different beast, and you need to prepare for them as such. So much of law school is not about getting to the right answer, but about operating and analyzing within the gray area that is on its way to getting the right answer. So only by preparing yourself, only by reading books like Getting to Maybe, which really highlight how you can write successful legal essay answers, can you prepare yourself well ahead of time. Can you get a sense for what works and what is going to score well on your exams. And scoring well in your exams, I'm sorry to say, is the most important thing about law school. So Getting to Maybe is the best tool you have early on to prepare yourself for that experience. That does it for us. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more of these videos, whether you're preparing for law school, preparing for the bar exam. Check us out at barcastaudio.com. Check out our law school consulting, our law school experience, law school coaching, everything you need. Until later, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye now.